from a different place. Last week, we spent 5 days together. Some of you joined every session. Some of you joined a few. Some may have listened quietly in the background. But we talked about many things. Number one, what GIC is. Number two, how the platform works. Number three, what participation means. And number four, what rules and boundaries exist. And that's quite a lot to take in. So if you're sitting there thinking, I'm still processing, I need more time, or some things are not clear, that's okay. And I want to say something, and I want you to understand it clearly now. Finishing onboarding does not mean you're expected to know everything. That's right. You are not expected to know everything. It doesn't mean you should feel suddenly confident about everything. And it doesn't mean you must act fast. Some people move quickly. Some people move carefully. Both are valid. But what onboarding really means is simple. It means you now have a little more clarity than before. And clarity grows best when we give it time. That's why, before we move forward tonight, I want to step away from work for a moment. Let me ask you something very simple. How was your weekend? Just let me know in the chat. Send me an emoji, because I'm really interested. Everything look good for you, Joseph? Wow. All of you? Elijah? Wow. Grally? Wow, so many. I'm glad you all had a good weekend. And I don't know whether it was restful, if it was busy, did it feel meaningful, or did it pass too quickly? And that I would like to know. Oh, good weekend. Spending time with family. Thank you, Ronald. Eagle 1, you attended. Oh, congratulations. The Maris, meaningful. And that's great to know. Because sometimes a good weekend isn't about doing many things. At times it's just about resting, being with family, or just having a moment to yourself, having some time just to relax and breathe. I bet Nanette knows all about that now. Yeah? Having a newborn baby. And all that matters because GIC is not separate from your life. Participation here is meant to fit into your real life, not replace it. So tonight, we're not going to rush. We are not going to push. We are just going to move forward only as fast as understanding allows. In the next part, we'll slowly talk about what GIC really does and why participation matters. But we will take it step by step. So when you're ready, we'll continue. Everything okay? Are we okay to continue? As my assistant says, the sound okay? All loud and clear? great. That's great. So let's carry on. After hearing everyone share about the weekend and how life has been for you all, I just want to say this first. Thank you. Thank you for showing up tonight. And thank you for giving your time and for staying connected. Because that deserves recognition. And I want to give everyone present a round of applause, not because everything is perfect, but because you chose to stay present. And I thank you for that. Now let me talk a bit about who is actually in this Zoom. Because every time we open a Zoom session like this, the room is always mixed. Some of you are completely new. Some of you have been around a while. And some of you prefer to listen and quietly observe. And all of that is normal. And I'm just seeing now, we have a poll on there. Well, 60% of you have been with GIC for some time. 15% are new here, just joined. 11% of you joined during onboarding week. And there's 21% of you mainly observing and listening. And as I said, all of that is normal. And we applaud that. Being new doesn't mean you're behind, or being quiet doesn't mean you're not serious. Just as observing doesn't mean you're not participating. In fact, many strong contributors start by listening carefully. So as you're seeing on there now, this is our first poll. Yeah. And I want to thank everyone who are answering. So just to go over again, we have new here or just joined, 15%, 13% onboarding this week, 50% have been with GIC for some time. And those who are mainly observing and listening is 23%. That is great. Thank you for answering that. It really helps us understand, no matter which option that you have chosen, you belong here. And again, I want to give you all a round of applause and say thank you. Now I want to speak honestly about something else. People join GIC at very different stages in their life. Some people join when things are stable. Some people join when they are under pressure. I have to do something. Is this from me? Is this going to work? I just have to do something. Some people join because they're curious. And some people join because they are looking for a change. There is no right or no wrong answer. What matters is that you're here now, you're listening, thinking, and giving yourself space to understand. And that's why GIC is designed for real people, not for perfect people. I'm going to ask you to reflect for a moment on your daily routine. Some of you wake up early and work long hours. More of you have flexible schedules. But I would imagine that the majority of you are balancing work and family. And there are some of you that are still figuring things out. That diversity is real. And that's exactly why participation here is not meant to fight your life. It's meant to fit into it. Now we have another poll here. Poll 2. And this just answers some questions. And if you can answer that, it'd be great. And the question is, how would you describe your current work situation? How would you describe your current life situation? And what you're looking at now are all the options. Would you say it is stable and comfortable? Would you say you're busy but managing? Would you say you're under some pressure? Or are you still exploring and trying to figure things out? And I know this might be considered personal, but we're only trying to get to know you. We're only trying to make sure that what we offer in the future will appeal to all the people who have come and decided to participate. So I'm looking here that 24% of you are stable and comfortable. Congratulations. 35% of you are busy but managing. Some of you are under pressure. And some of you are still exploring and figuring things out. And that is great. That is really great. And I'm seeing from the chats that you're participating. Joseph, pressure on surviving as a pensioner. Amen, amen, man. And I want it to be known that wherever you are right now, it's okay. GIC is not here to judge you from where you start. It's here to grow with you at a pace you can sustain. And I think we should all give ourselves another round of applause for being honest about where we are, because it's not easy. And I thank you for this. But being part of GIC does not mean you suddenly have to be very active, very focal, or very confident. Growth does not look the same for everyone. Some people grow by asking questions. Others grow by listening, whilst many grow by slowly applying what they understand and by helping others once they feel ready. There is no single path. So if you ever think, oh, I'm slower than others, I'm not ready yet, or I'm not sure where I fit, that's normal as well. Progress here is not a race. So congratulate yourself for the steady growth that's going on in your life, because it is better than rush growth. Now, GIC exists because people participate together. Not because one person is very strong or because one person works the hardest, but because many people show up consistently in their own way. And that is why participation matters. Not participation as pressure or obligation, but participation as presence. When enough people participate sincerely, something powerful happens. Like the polls we are running through now. If more of you can answer the questions, it gives us and it gives your fellow workers an opportunity to know that not everyone is at the same stage in life. So it actually helps them understand and maybe have a little more empathy, because as we run through our busy life, sometimes we forget that other people have different problems to ourselves. And in most cases, they can be worse. And that is how this platform becomes stronger, because trust increases. Opportunities begin to appear. And when opportunities appear, teams grow naturally. And this is especially important for the Philippines. As GIC continues to grow, the Philippine team will continue to grow with it. That growth will create opportunities, not only to participate, but also to support others, guide teams, and eventually step into leadership roles. We truly hope to see new pioneer leaders emerge. Not leaders chosen by titles, but leaders recognized through consistency, understanding, and contribution. And heartfelt congratulations to the future leaders in this room, even if you don't know it yet. I want you to remember this. You don't need to rush to compare yourself or to prove anything tonight. What matters is that you stay curious, you stay engaged, and you stay real. We're going to continue step by step and explain things more clearly. And as we move forward together, everything will become calmer because of the understanding that we're gaining from every session that we do together. Now, before we go deeper into what GIC does and how participation works, I want to slow down again and do something important. I want to understand you better, not to judge or to label, but to make sure what we share, what we build, and how we move forward actually fits the people in this room, especially in the Philippines. Because a platform only works when it understands its community. And I need you to understand this. You are not just users or participants. You are people with work, responsibilities, and goals. And if we don't understand that, then no system will ever work properly. So the next few questions are anonymous, optional, and simple. Answer only if you're comfortable. But I would encourage you to answer, because that helps us grow a bigger picture. Not just for us at GIC, but for the people that you work with and the like-minded people who are using the platform. So, age group question. Which age group do you belong to? Wow. Wow. Below 25, 7%. Wow. How many youngsters is that? Then 45 and above, 39%. 35 to 44, 30%. And 25 to 34 is 22%. And as my colleague just said in the chat, please participate, because it gives us a greater understanding. And then, as I said, you can find out and you'll know exactly that what the problems people of your age will have as well. And you understand that you can actually go to other people in the groups who are of different ages. That will help you. Now, don't put it in the chat, although I see you going into the chat there. You're going to have to respond to the poll directly so we can actually see what you're saying. Yeah? So get your QR code so you can answer the Zoom polls. And we can get more participation in the poll itself, because it's very, very helpful. So, as we move forward, hopefully more people can jump onto the Zoom polls. So again, sincere appreciation for the sharing that you've just gone through. What this tells us is not who is better or faster. This actually tells us something more important. As I was saying, different ages mean different life stages, different energy levels, and different priorities. And that diversity is actually a strength for a data platform. So congratulate yourselves for this diversity. And I want to ask ask you something else related to daily life. In the Philippines, people work in many different ways. Some work full-time or work flexible jobs. Some of you run small businesses, and others work at balancing family and work life at the same time. There is no normal here. So in the second poll, it's the current job situation. As I said, if you haven't got your QR code, to join this poll, please do. Shouldn't take you too much time. So which best describes your current work situation? Yeah. I don't know if we got a bit of an increase now, but we have 539 participants on tonight. So let's see if we can get over 60% on this one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, we're at 58% now. That is great. That is great. Oh, 60%. Thank you. Thank you very much. We got to 60%. So now we have a look here. We've got full-time employee, 32%. Part-time freelance flexible workers at 31%. Business owner, self-employed, is at 13%. And currently not working and exploring is 25%. And again, as I was saying, this helps us understand how people actually live and work. And for the simple reason is because GIC does not want to force anyone into one fixed rhythm. Participation that lasts is participation that respects real working conditions. So congratulate yourselves, 66% managed to make this poll. 357 of you answered the poll. Thank you so much. So let's see if we can go a little bit further for when the next poll comes on. Now, we're going to talk about something which is a bit more sensitive, but very real. We all work for a reason. Some people are comfortable, some people are managing or feel pressurized, while others are looking for improvement. There is no shame in any of these situations. So instead of asking for direct salary numbers, we just want to ask you something simpler. How do you currently feel about your income situation? As I said, we got to nearly 55%, 68% there, last poll. I hope more of you will join this. Wow. Yeah. We're now up to 42%. Thank you so much. And the figures are global by standard. Yeah, past 50% now, we're up to 52. Come on, guys, we can do it. $56, $57, we're climbing. And as I was saying, the figures are global by standard. 15% comfortable and stable. 37 and 41% are okay, but could be better, or under financial pressure. And 7% is still figuring it out. Yeah? And that is what life is about. Wherever you are now, that does not define your future. We are not here to judge where you start. We're here to provide a platform where growth is possible, not promised overnight. And I would just like to say thank you for all those who actually participated in the Zoom poll. Yeah? And for those who used the chat. Really appreciate your honesty and the courage it takes to answer these. Yeah? So please accept our appreciation. Now, I'm going to connect all of this. When we look at age groups, the work situations, and how people feel about income, what we see is real life. And that's exactly why GIC focuses so much on real participation. Because real people create real data. And real data is what enterprises trust. And that's why you all in the Philippines are so important. The diversity here in age, work, and lifestyle creates a very strong representative data. And when data is strong, the platform grows. When the platform grows, opportunities grow. Not just participation opportunities, but opportunities to support others, build teams, and eventually step into leadership roles. And please remember this as we move forward. As we said, you don't need to be the fastest, the loudest, or the most perfect. You just need to be real, consistent, and willing to learn. That's how we grow. That's how teams grow. And that's how future pioneer leaders are formed. So, now that we've spent time understanding who is in the room, the backgrounds, the life stages, and the work situation, let's take one more important step forward. Let's talk about what changes after learning. Because learning by itself is not the goal. Understanding is meant to lead somewhere. Last week, we went through onboarding together. There was a lot of information, concepts, and new ideas. Some things probably clicked immediately. Some things may still feel unclear, and that's normal. What matters more than remembering everything is whether something shifted within you, even a little. So, we have another question come in. As we said, it's not a test. It's just a reflection on what we learned last week and getting to know each other on the platform this week. After last week's onboarding, do you feel you're able to do something differently now? I'm looking forward to hearing what your response is, because it means a lot. It means a lot to us. So, at the moment, we're looking at nearly 50%. And it's nice to see that, yes, I am more confident, 22% at the moment, 23%. Yes, I understand the platform better, nearly 50%, which is brilliant. A little bit, still learning. Well, of course, it all depends on where you came into GIC, and not yet, still processing. And that is normal as well. That is normal as well. And I have to say thank you all, because we're nearly 60% now, which is great, and still climbing. But as I said, if you chose not yet, that's okay. Understanding doesn't arrive on a fixed schedule. If you chose a little bit, that's already progress. And if you chose yes, that means learning is starting to turn into confidence. Again, appreciate the honesty. Thank you so much. Now, a second question, because this part matters, really matters. Think back to last week, not the whole week. Just one moment, one idea, one explanation, one sentence, something that has stayed with you, something that has helped you see things differently. So this polling question is, what was the most helpful thing you learned last week? Oh, wow. Better understanding how GIC works is out there Oh, brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And that's all we're looking for. We're just looking for honesty. Because when you're honest, then we can help you in so many other ways. We can help you develop. And these lessons are going to be with you for life. They're not just going to be with you for GIC. They're going to be with you for life. For every aspect of your life, for every situation in your life, you can use the lessons that you're learning last week, this week, to make you a more confident person. We're sat at 58% now. So, out by far is better understanding of how GIC works, which is brilliant. We've got a clear idea of participation and boundaries, 9%. Work in progress, that's fine. Better mindset about consistency and patience. Wow. 35%. Congratulations. And still organizing everything in your head? Great. Very good to see. Learning doesn't always show up as action immediately. Sometimes it shows up as less confusion, less anxiety, more realistic expectations, and better patience with yourself. And all these things are extremely important because they actually help us, as I said, in real life. Not just for information purposes. Now, connecting this to participation. When you understand the platform better, you make better decisions. When your mindset is calmer, you don't rush or panic. When expectations are clearer, you stay longer. And staying longer is where real participation begins. Participation is not about doing everything at once. It's about showing up consistently, following the process, and letting understanding guide your actions. That's why we don't rush people to expand teams and we don't push people into roles before they are ready. Growth that lasts comes from understanding first, reflection. Something similar to what we just did. So, I'd just like to ask the chat group, you all still with me? Everything still okay? What do you prefer, the polls or the Kahoot? Let me know. Polls or Kahoot? Because the more we know, the better we can become. Yeah? Oh, Miss M prefers the Kahoot. Oh, okay. Sweeney does as well. Oh, I thought the polls would have been a little bit better. Excuse me. I'm just going to take a drink now. So, excuse me. So, if last week helped you see things more clearly, even just a little, that means that onboarding did its job. And week 2 is about building on that clarity, slowly and correctly. Let me say this before we move on. You were not expected to change overnight. And you have all the answers. Just as you are not expected to lead immediately. Sorry, let me go over that again. You are not expected to change overnight and to have all the answers. Just as you are not expected to lead immediately. What matters is that you understand a bit more than before. You feel more grounded than before. and you are willing to continue learning. That is how strong participants are formed. This is how future leaders emerge. So you all deserve one more round of applause for progress, even quiet progress. Okay, now that we've reflected on learning and change, we're ready to talk about what GIC really does and why participation, especially group participation, matters so much. So we're going to be a little bit more personal now. Not about GIC, not about systems or platforms, but about you. Because every decision you make here connects to the life you want outside of this platform. So let me ask you to think about the start of this year. The new year always carries something quite powerful. Hope. Not big promises or dramatic changes, but small thoughts like, I hope this year is more stable. I pray I can live with less pressure. I hope things slowly get better. All those hopes matter. So before we talk about speed, participation, or growth, I want to understand what's in your heart. What is your main wish for this year? And I'm asking you this because this helps us to understand you all better. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'd just like to, again, express gratefulness. There's 570 participations on at the moment. And we've been quietly moving the figure past 60%. That is amazing. Amazing. So if we can move it up, especially for these ones where we really desire to know a little bit more about you personally, if we can move it up to past 65%, maybe 70%, that'd be great. Because as I said, the more we know, the more we can help. So at the moment now, we've had about 333 people answer, and I thank you so much. 63%. Congratulations, guys. So we're looking at more financial stability at 47%. Less stress and more balance. Well, 10%. Congrats to you all. Personal growth and confidence, 10%. And better opportunities for the future, 32%. Well, we're now at 65. And I thank you for your contributions. Now, what we've just seen on the screen right now is not ambition. It's real life. Most people are not asking for luxury. They're asking for stability. They're asking for peace and progress. And that's important for us to understand, because a platform should serve real needs, not fantasies. So let's celebrate all these honest wishes. Now, I want to connect this very gently to action, because big changes rarely start with big moves. They usually start with small decisions. A small step taken earlier often beats a big step taken too late. So, for example, think about someone who wants to change but waits for the perfect moment or more confidence. And we all know what this sounds like. I'll do it when I'm fully ready. I'll try it when I'm sure I won't fail. I'll move when conditions are perfect. And then think about that someone that are not fearless, that are not reckless, but they just try one small step, ask one question, try one action. Invite one conversation. That's it. Over time, that small step compounds. And this brings me to something very critical. Fear of failure is normal. In fact, fear of failure is often a sign that you care. But fear should not stop movement forever. I don't know if you've heard this saying, but it goes, failure is how people learn and grow. Not because failure is fun, but because nothing meaningful grows without learning. So let me go over that saying again. Failure is how people learn and grow. And it's amazing when you push through the fear, the feeling you get inside. Again, and not the pressure anymore. I'm going to ask you a question to understand where you are. And this question is around, have you tried taking any small action after onboarding? Oh, wow. We're creeping up there. 41% in, and already 85% of you have actually tried inviting or sharing. Congratulations. 4% I thought about it but haven't acted yet. That's okay. You're still thinking. You're still learning. Not yet, still building confidence. Great. Not ready, just observing for now. And that's okay as well. That is okay as well. So again, we're going to move past 60% participation. And I'm thanking you all. If you chose not yet, as I said, that's okay. If you chose thinking about it, that's progress. If you chose yes, that's courage. Remember, we're not measuring success here. We're understanding readiness. And readiness looks different for everyone. So congratulations to you all for the effort, even the quiet effort that you're putting in. So to tie all this together, when we say speed up, we don't mean forcing yourself into uncomfortable action. We mean shortening hesitation, taking one step instead of none, letting learning turn you onto experience, because experience builds confidence faster than thinking alone. Small moves really do create big steps. One conversation leads to an understanding. One attempt reduces fear. One small success builds momentum. And even in one failure teaches more than 10 plans that never started. So we have to understand that. We have to understand that. So, here's the mindset we encourage. Remember, the word is encourage. We do not force. We ask that you aim a little bit higher from where you are now. We move a little bit earlier than you feel perfectly ready. And you allow yourself to learn along the way. Not recklessly, not blindly, but intentionally. So let me end this part with something important. We ask these questions not to push you forward faster than you can handle, but to walk with you at the right pace. The better we understand you, the better we can support you. And the more you understand yourself, the clearer your next step becomes. You don't need to make a big leap today. Just don't underestimate the power of one small step taken with intentions. Because that's how situations change. That's how stability is built. And that's how futures are shaped. So, before we end tonight, I want to leave you with a short thought. Life doesn't usually change in one big moment. Most of the time it changes quietly. One small decision made earlier, one extra step taken when others waited, one moment of clarity that turns into consistent action. That's how situations slowly become more stable. That's how pressure slowly reduces. And that's how people, us all, move from surviving to breathing. And that's exactly the mindset behind what we're doing this week. This week is not about random content. No extra training for the sake of training. The entire week is built around the official announcements you've seen. Those announcements that talk about platform direction, participation standards, work rhythm, team growth, long-term stability. They are not just rules, they are signals. Signals that the platform is moving into a more structured, more serious and sustainable phase. And that's why we're not pushing through them. As I said earlier, this week we will walk through everything step by step. One topic at a time, one explanation at a time. So everyone understands why. Not just what is changing, but why. And before you go, I just want to reiterate this again. We spoke about it at the end of last week. But it's that important. We are going to keep on saying it. GIC has only official communication channels. We only recognize the official GIC Facebook page, official WhatsApp groups. That's it. Nothing else. Any other Facebook groups, private chats, or unofficial messages are not official and should always be verified. And remember, staying alert is not fear, is not being in fear. Staying and being alert is a responsibility. And responsible people are the ones who last. Now, I just want to confirm that you've understood what I said about the Facebook group and the WhatsApp groups, because they are very, very important for everyone. They protect you and they protect us. Yeah? I'm seeing thumbs up now. Thank you, Ronaldo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good. But that won't stop us from talking about it because it's very, very important. Thank you, Sweeney. So, tomorrow we're going to continue and we're going to go one level deeper. Day 2 is about rhythm and clarity. And we're going to talk about how to use your week properly. Why tasks and participation are structured the way they are. And why work days and rest days matter. We're also going to have a look at how to stay consistent without burning out. We want to give you all these skills because we want to add to your lives. And we want you to be the best you can be, whether it is with GIC or in the rest of your life. So tomorrow is not about doing more. It's about doing things the right way, so your effort actually leads somewhere. If day 1 was about mindset and direction, then day 2 is about structure and execution. And I want you to remember this. You don't need to change everything today. You don't need to become someone else overnight. But if you walk through this week with us, listening, thinking, asking, understanding, you'll finish this week clearer than when you started. And clarity is powerful. Because when you see the path clearly, moving forward becomes so much easier. So, thank you for your time tonight, for staying present, for walking this journey with us. We'll continue this tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you all And tomorrow is going to be the same. Calmly, clearly, and together. Good night, everyone. I hope you all have a pleasant evening. Thank you. You okay? Everyone okay? That's good. Thank you for all the emojis.